Well, we'll see what happens in Atlanta. There will be a lot of eyes going forward there. As we look back a little bit at last week, I know in the CIAA we had you talk about a big loss, Kris. I think a lot of us were shocked at what happened in Salisbury, North Carolina, with Livingstone College taking down Bowie State. They had not beaten Bowie State since 2014. And so just talk about that. Talk to me first about Bowie. Let's talk about Bowie. Last year 6-4, first year under Coach Jackson. He comes back this year. They get the win against Delaware State, and hey, I'm gonna give you. You said you had your doubts. They come out and they win the Delaware State game, and people are looking at you crazy. Lose to Davenport. They come out, they took it to Shaw early on, and then we kind of started seeing that game in Bowie that things were kind of teetering a little bit, and then they went to Livingstone, they went to Salisbury, and the Blue
Yep.
Turf Smurfs got them.
Yep. Well, Bowie State been. This is part of the show that's the playing with your food segment because that's really what Bowie State's been doing for the past two weekends. I mean, yeah, they had to deal with the weather against St. Aug, but it's St. Aug. I mean, that's a team that's totally rebuilding, and we normally know of Bowie State as more of a reload type of school. Um, but something just seems kind of amiss on offense. I mean, their defense is lights out and has been that way for the most part. Um, but the offense just seems to be really, 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 really struggling. I mean, it's just brutal right now. And so the amount of turnovers that Bowie State took on against Livingstone, and I mean, it was a slow moving train wreck. You just saw inching Livingstone start inching away. And I watched the fourth quarter and you saw those touchdown receptions, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe it. The turnovers really got to them in that game. And here's the thing about Livingstone. Like Livingstone has played like one, two, three, I think four quarterbacks this season already. I mean, when you talk about they're trying to figure things out, that's what they're doing. So for that game to have happened the way that it did, I mean, there's certainly just a lot of questions on where do you go from here from Bowie State. And I understand that this game coming up is a rivalry game against Virginia State. But man, I mean, I don't know. I catch a lot of heat from the Bowie State folks. So I kind of try to watch what I say when it comes to them, but I am a little concerned about Bowie State at this point. So
Hey man, say it with your chest, because you know who was saying it with their chest last week? Our guy breaking down the Bulldogs. He's been saying it with his chest for actually the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen to him. Shout out to Blue to breaking down the Bulldogs. You know, it, you know, it's one of those things. I mean, again, I said it last week. Kris, you and I have been through this. You have a great coach, and they go on to Division 1. You hand it off, and at a certain point, there's a drop off. I mean, if you guys remember the second, and in case in point, we had Connell Maynard leave, and Coach Bulwer's first year, they were 9-2, made it to the championship game, lost to a very good Virginia State team. That next year, man, they struggled. They were 5-5. And it just so happened that the CIAA South was even worse than it's been the last couple of years. And they actually made a championship game and messed around and won it. So, and this kind of happens a little bit. All we have to do is win out, and we're in Salem. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are in that boat right now. There are 6 teams, I would say, Kris, that are in that boat that can win out and still get to
I
Salem. Speaking of Virginia State and the CIAA, we got a matchup this week, the first week of divisional play. We've got Bowie State reeling from the loss down in Salisbury. The Bulldogs have licked their wounds They're back in PG County. My guy breaking down the Bulldogs. He's picked up the pieces of his life. Um, you know, I've been there. Nevertheless, back to Virginia State and Bowie State. Last year, Kris, both you and I both went to this game anticipating a heavyweight fight, and what we got was the Bulldogs stomping on the Trojans. Well, you know what? A lot of those guys are still here from last year, and right now, Virginia State's coming in. They look like the guy. I got a chance to see him. You got a chance to see him in person. They look like the guy. Bowie State, they look like they're. Do Bulldogs have tails that can go between their legs, or not really? I'm not a dog person. Anyway, the Bulldogs are in a state of shock. It's homecoming. Kris, tell me what your thoughts are on this game, and then we'll go to the alma maters looking ahead before we close out.
Oh man, we were here last year where Virginia State looked like the team, and only for Bowie State to rain utter destruction on the boys from
At
the Bulls Detroit.
homecoming.
At home. Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. I mean, I ended
that
up leaving
homecoming was a home going for VSU.
It was bad. I mean, but the one thing it just seems
and there were no woo woos either. Like, what were we doing there? Anyway, go.
Yeah, well. So Virginia State looks better. They have suffered some injuries, but they have quite a bit of depth, and we are seeing that play out for them. And Bowie State just has a lot of question marks, but Bowie is a hard team to beat at home, and that's kind of what you kind of face here. And it don't matter where these two teams are; they just really seem to show out when they come across this game. So, even though we witnessed what we witnessed last week against Livingstone, Bowie State, I'm pretty sure, has this game circled on the calendar. If you're Virginia State, you've consistently asked, why aren't we in the top 25? Well, this surely is a way to really put your stamp that you also deserve to be in the top 25 in the country. So, should be a really fun game. I'm really looking forward to it. On Saturday, but I would expect a very entertaining game and nothing less.
Well. I actually have the lines from FCS Sportsbook, and Virginia State is a 9-point favorite. Kris, how what do you think about that 9-point favorite? That sound about right to you?
Sounds about right to me. Yeah.
Okay.